No more creative work. I remember Gene England coming when we were in England. He came to visit us, and he said, "Okay, I've sworn I'm not going to write essays for the next month." And his wife just smiled and chuckled, and he was writing another essay within a week because he couldn't resist. So on my docket, I have a novel on my computer that I'm really, really excited about. Heart of Africa is taking my attention because I'm still refining the script, and we're ready to start the really hard work of getting it funded, which I actually have complete confidence in because I am again working with Darius Gray. And Darius is so well known and so well loved that when we talked, we didn't even show the trailer at the fair conference in Salt Lake in the summer. Darius just talked about it, and immediately there were shouts from the audience, "How can we donate?" So he has that power, and we funded Nobody Knows really remarkably, and with people not only giving us money but donating services, which was just services and stories and pictures, so many things. It was just miraculous, and we feel like this next one, Heart of Africa, is something that is part of our mission. We consider ourselves to be missionaries in a particular way, and that this is something we are to do. And we have faith that we'll find a way to have everything work together. But because of who I am, how I was raised, my father is a linguist. I mentioned that he took us to Yucatan when I was 8 years old, and later he took us to Guatemala, and I've returned 5 times. I love Guatemala, and I love the people there. And there's one story in particular of the branch president who I met in 1975. The next year, 76, there was an earthquake that killed 27,000 Cactical Indians. The branch president lost his pregnant wife and 2 of his children. His son had been called as a missionary, and he was the first Cactical Indian to be called as a missionary. I went to the farewell, and it was just packed, and not just with Mormons. Everybody was there to see one of their own begin to serve a Mormon mission. And he, of course, was affected by the quake as well. The family had been sealed in the Mesa, Arizona temple. They did not have temples in Guatemala or Mexico in 75, or they were sealed in the 60s. Daniel Elder Choc came with his companion from the city where they had been, Comalapa, came to their father's house. He had no way of knowing what had happened to his mother or the siblings. Came to his father's house to find out how his family had fared during the quake, and was told that he had lost those loved ones. And then he embraced his father. They wept together. And then Daniel said, "You are still the branch president. You must continue in the work and unite these people. Everybody will be watching you." And then Daniel said, I am still a missionary. I need to be with my companion, and we need to go to this other city where we're helping rebuild the houses. And it was 4 weeks later that Daniel was helping rebuild a house, and it caved in, and a huge part of it hit him, and he died in about 15 minutes. And then the missionaries had to take the body back to Pablo, and just in sobbing to tell him that his son had died. This wonderful missionary son. Now that sounds like it would be a really depressing film. The full arc of it, and I want to pay honor to Pablo Choc, the full arc of it, which we've seen now. Pablo died this year, a few months ago, but he did keep the branch together. Wow. In spite of, what he had lost himself. He kept everyone together, and where we lived in that town, I took my kids there 3 years ago. We taught at a school that one of the missionaries had helped set up. And I took my children to meet Pablo and explained outside his very poor dwelling that they were about to meet one of the great men of the world. And the part of the town where we lived in Patheos was called Zarahemla. A full tenth of the town is LDS now. Wow. And so it really is just a beautiful story, and that's after Heart of Africa. And whenever, the novel, whenever there's a little spare time, I'll work on that. But it's very typical in fact, it would be atypical if I didn't have several things going on.
Well, Margaret, it was great speaking with you, and I wish you the best on your future endeavors. I would really like to have you and Darius on together sometime to talk more about African Americans and Mormons. And
we'd love to do that. He's quite ill right now, but
Yeah, that's what I hear.
just a little time. He needs a little more recovery, but after he's recovered, we'd love to do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Oh, happy to do it.
And just as a reminder to all of our listeners, links to the AML website, the Irreantum Journal, the Heart of Africa film are going to be posted under the links section of our website. So if you're interested in any of the topics that Margaret and I have discussed today, feel free to check those out. Thanks again, Margaret, and have a good day.
Thank you for listening. Please visit us again at www.themormonbookreview.com.